nakikita po yung aking AutoCAD screen? Hello? Gamitin nyo yung mic. Hindi ko nakikita yung ano.
Yes, sir.
So kung nakikita po ito, diretso tayo sa dimensions. Sa dimensions, how to create your dimension. First, you need to open your dimension style setting. By doing so, diretso tayo sa shortcut command in creating your dimension style. Or, that is basically dim style. Using the command dim style, press the spacebar to select the command. Pupunta ka dito sa Dimension Style Manager. Sa Dimension Style Manager, halimbawa sa file na ito, meron na siyang ginawang dalawang dimension, specifically for his or her drawings. But for us, gawa na lang tayo ng bagong dimension para alam natin yung ating settings. For dimensions, magpo-pop out yung ating create new dimension style. Create na lang tayo ng dim style or dimension style number 3. Then, continue. Then, it will come up like this. Ito yung setting specifically for dimension style 3. Punta tayo sa lines. Sa lines, makikita itong mga settings na ito. For dimension lines, pwede nyong iselect yung by layer or pwede na lang kayong mamili ng kulay. Pero for us, I suggest for you to select by layer. With selecting by layer, lahat ng kulay or layer, lahat ng kulay and layers for this particular dimension will be specified using the specified layers for dimensions. So mamaya gawan natin yan. So set natin siya by layers. Line type by layer, line weight by layer. Ang baseline spacing is yung space ng ating dimension coming from the object being identified yung hinahanapan natin ng dimension. So yung space niya is 1.5 mm. Yung extension lines, ito, nakikita naman yung ating output niya kung sakali. Extension lines, set na rin natin yan by layer. Line type line, by layer, by layer, by layer lahat. Extend beyond dim lines. Yung extend beyond dim lines, eto naman, yung sa labas. Pwede nyo iset ng 0.3 or gawin na lang nating 0.1 or 15. Uh, 0, 2. Tapos, ano pa ba? Fixed length extension line. Pag sinelect nyo si fixed length extension line, mawawala yung ating baseline. So, wag na lang nating pakialaman yung fixed length extension lines. So, okay na yung sa line settings. Diretso tayo sa symbols and arrows. With symbols and arrows, pwede nyong ilagay yung sarili nyong preference. Kung gusto nyong gumamit ng arrows or close field, makikita nyo naman yung changes. Or if you want to use open dot or close dot or any other dimension settings. But for me, I'd like to use dot. Ganyan lang. Then for leaders, you can also set up the heads for your MLEADERs here. So arrow lang yung MLEADER. So okay na yan. With the arrow size or the dot size, pwede nyong lakihan, liitan, or kayo nang bahala kung anong gusto nyong size niyan. Basta as much as possible, nakikita or na-identify natin yung dot na yan or yung dimension natin. Let's just say 2.5 mm. Center marks 0.09, okay na yan. Break size 0.1250. Arc length symbol. For arc length symbol, yung para naman sa angles ng ating objects. Kagaya dito. Preceding dimension text, above dimension text. Pag sinelect natin si above dimension text, makikita sa ibabaw ng dimension or none. Pero, let's just go with preceding dimension text. Then, radius jog dimension, 45, okay na yan. Linear jog dimensions, 1.5, okay na yan. Then, for text. Sa text, you can specify and create a specified text setting for dimensions. So, by doing so, click na lang natin si text style, yung may 3 dot na box. Click, then create new. Let's just say this is my dimension text style number 2. Dimension text style number 2, pili na lang tayo ng font. Calibre. Ayan. Then regular, then height. Standard naman tayo sa 3mm. Then apply. Then set current, close. Pili na tayo dito. So, andun na si dimension 2. Si dimension 2 specifically or text setting for dimensions. That is calibre 3mm regular. Yung text color, set natin yan by layer. Yung ating fill color, kung gusto nyong lagyan ng fill, pwede namang hindi. Mas maganda kasi pag wala. Tapos, pwede nyo ring lagyan ng frame. Or, kung ayaw nyo, uncheck nyo na lang yan. Then, text height. Yung text height, naka-specify siya under text style setting dim2. Fraction height scale, naka-set siya kay dim style setting 2. Now, for text placement. Text placement should always be in center. Dapat nasa center po lagi yan para para madaling ma-identify yung ating text. Then for text alignment, pag isa-select natin si horizontal, lahat ng dimension detail niya ay naka-specify horizontally, kagaya niyan. If we're going to check or select align with dimension line, mas magandang tignan with our object being identified its dimension. So makikita ninyo if it is aligned with dimension line, i-follow niya yung position ng ating object na hinahanapan ng dimension. If it is ISO standard, for ISO standard, ganyan lang yan. So either align with dimension line or ISO standard. So mas gusto ko yung align with dimension lines. So okay na yan. Then fit. Sa fit naman, for fit options, marami tayong pagpipilian dito. Either text or arrows. If it is arrows, text, both text and arrows. Always keep text between X lines. So either, ang pwede natin gamitin dito na maganda is either text or arrows, best fit, and always keep text between each line. Doon tayo sa either text or arrows best fit. Then, text placement over dimension line without letter. Beside dimension line, beside the dimension line. So, doon tayo sa over dimension line without letter. With scale for dimension features, as much as possible, select lang natin yung scale dimension to layout. So, scale dimensions to layout, kung ano man yung sinet nating dimension ng object na to, later on, i-adapt niya yan sa ating layout. Then, do not check annotative scaling kung ayaw nyo gumamit ng annotative. And, kung ang drawings ninyo ay hindi nakaset for annotative scaling. So, kung hindi nakaset ang dimensions ninyo, text style, drawings, and so forth and so long in annotative scaling, especially your model tab, wag nyong isa-select yung annotative option. So, kung hindi yan naka-check, dun lang tayo sa scale dimensions to layout, then okay na yan. Then, primary units. Primary units for unit format, decimal tayo. Limit your decimals to 1 decimal place. Then round yan. Prefix, wala. Suffix, kung unit na ginamit is millimeter, so ilagay natin yung unit na millimeter. Small mm. Scale factor, apply to layout dimensions only. Scale factor, never mind na yan. Pwede naman tayong mag-align scaling. So, then precisions, okay na yan. Then alternate units, di natin kailangan yan. Tolerance, hindi naman masyado yung kailangan yan. Then okay na. Then press OK. DIM3 yung ginawa natin ng setting. Then set current. Then close. So every now and then, if you're going to create or identify the dimension of a specific object, ang gagamitin natin is DIM3. Kasi yun yung ating nakaset current. Then close. Next is for us to create the layer for our dimension. So punta tayo kay Layer Style Manager. Right click, New Layer. Let's just say DIM3. Parehas mo na yung pangalan para hindi nakakalito. DIM3, select the color. Gusto kong gamitin si cyan. Okay. Continuous. Line thickness, iparehas natin doon kay text, which is dapat nasa 0.2. Parehas natin siya kay text or doon sa binigay kong layer for text, which is 0.2. 0.2 ba yan? O 0.2. Tapos yung guidelines is 0.15. So 0.2. Okay. Then close. Now, how to directly set the layer of your dimension without going to the home and selecting DIM3 as your current scale, as your current dimension. With that, input the command DIMLAYER. So selecting or doing the DIMLAYER command, spacebar to select the command, lalabas yung notice na ito. Enter new value for DIMLAYER or for use current. So ibig niyang sabihin, i-type mo daw yung pangalan ng layer na gusto mong gamitin with the set current dimension. So ano yung pinangalan nating layer for dimension is the same as our dimension current, which is DIM3. So DIM3 ang pangalan ng layer for our dimension. So press enter or spacebar to select or set that as our current layer that will later on use in the command dimension. With that, every now and then, kung magagawa tayo ng dimension, ang layer na gagamitin na natin is DIM3. Now, there are three basic options when it comes to providing dimensions. First is your dim linear or specifically dimensions from a point to a point. Then dim quick or quick dimension, by selecting a line or an object, you can already provide its dimension, or dim continuous. Halimbawa, let's just go with basic dimension command. Basic dimension command, that is DIM or dim linear. DIM, then enter. Selecting dim dimension, dim or dimension, click a point, then your end point, then okay. Nakikita po ba? So this is now our dimension for this particular line. Mapapansin natin yung sinet nating layer for dimension line is dim3. So this is also dim3. Tapos naka-current dimension tayo na dim3. Ngayon, hindi ko pa pinipress yung spacebar, so I can still do multiple dimensions. Okay. So, okay na yan. Then, paano yung alignment dimension? That. Uy. Hindi ko pala kinlose. Dim. That. Then, enter. So, okay ka na? So, lahat ng yan, nakaset sa isang command na dimension or dimension linear. Then, paano pag-incline? Mapapansin na nakaset siya aligned to the object being identified its dimension. Okay. Dim angle. Dim angular to create dimension for angles. That. Pull. Nagets po yan? Dim angular or DIMANG to create dimension in identifying angles. Selecting the lines that you want to identify its angle. It could be outside and inside. Parang ganyan. Then pull it outward. Ay, may millimeter. Tanggalin natin yung millimeter. Modify. Fit. Primary units. May millimeter siya dun sa hayaan mo na, angle lang naman yan. Okay na yan. Importante yung millimeter na dimension doon sa ating line objects. Ano pa ba? So that is dim angle or dim angular, tapos dimension, tapos meron pa yung isa, quick dimension. With quick dimension, you can simply select a specific line and identify its dimension. Just type QDIM or quick dimension, spacebar to select the command. Click, spacebar, then pull. Mapapansin na wala yung layer. Kasi yung ating dim layer na setting command kanina is specifically for single dimension commands or dims, dimang, and dimangulars. So with that, pilian na lang natin siya ng layer, which is dim3. Okay? How about yung continuous dimension? Kagaya nito. Paano kung kailangan natin ng multiple linear dimension tapos parallel siya doon sa isang dimension? Kagaya nito. 95 dapat 95 and 95. That is DIMCONT or DIMCONT. Dim continue spacebar. DIMCONT spacebar. Uy, dito pala ako natapos. DIMCONT. So 95, hanapin ko itong ulit. Then another. So okay na. Kunin ko yung dimension nito. then DIMCONT, DIMCONT, yan, pantay-pantay na siya. Okay, naintindihan niyo yung quick dim, dimension, dim angular, at saka dim continuous. Naintindihan po yan? Hello? With your dimension style setting, kung gusto nyo yung text lang ng dimension ang merong layer attachment, modify na lang natin si dim3. Punta tayo kay lines. Gawa na lang kayo ng kulay for your lines. Green. Tapos extension lines. Let's just say that is cyan. Then, yung text lang yung naka-by layer. So, lahat ng text ng dimension ay naka-by layer, pero yung lines and arrowheads naka-specify yung kulay. Then okay. Set current, then close. So, yun o, nakita ninyo. Yung text, yun lang yung naka-layer. Then naka-specify sa atin yung kulay ng lines. I suggest to use by layer, pero kung gusto nyo ng mas maayos or mas malinis tignan, pwede nyo ring i-specify yung kulay nila. Pero yung line weight at line type dapat naka-by layer. Gaya niyan. Dimension. Dimension. Question. Hello po, question. Oy, nakaraing kayo. May tanong? Hello? Maggamit ng mic kasi hindi ko nakikita. Yung chat box.
Wala po, sir.
So, walang tanong dyan sa dimension. Diretso tayo sa MLEADER. MLEADER, ito yung arrowhead that directs you to specify the detail of your drawing. So, create muna tayo ng bagong MLEADER. MLEADERSTYLE. MLEADERSTYLE will direct you to your MLEADERSTYLE manager. Create tayo ng bago. Let's just say ML1. Continue. ML2. Then continue. Then it will direct you here. The setting for MLEADER number 2. Leader format, pwedeng straight line, pwedeng spline, pwedeng wala. So, gusto ko ng straight line, kagaya niyan. Color, pwedeng by layer or pwede na rin kayo mamili ng kulay. So, set natin muna by layer. Line type, always yan, by layer. Line weight, by layer pa rin. Symbol, close field. Ito yung nakaset kanina sa dimension. So, close field arrow. Size, 0.5 mm. Let's just say 0.5, pwede na yan. Break size, 0.5 na rin. Letter structure, maximum letter points, 2. Yung arrowhead at saka yung text area. Then, landing settings, automatically include landing and set landing distance, 0.36 mm. Okay na yan. With the scale, again, do not select annotative scaling kung ayaw nyo gumamit ng annotative at hindi naka-annotative yung inyong text and other setting drawings. So, diretso tayo sa scale, multi-leaders to layout. So, as specified by layout na lang yan. Content. Multi-leader type, pwedeng text, pwedeng block, pwedeng none. So as I have already discussed how to create block, as much as possible, go with mtext kasi ang importante dito yung text detail ng drawing. Then text options. You can create, again, another type of text style setting for this particular MLEADER. Let's just say ML2. Iparehas na natin. ML2 Cambria 3mm regular. Then set current. Select ML2. So this is your text style setting for MLEADER setting ML2. Text angle, keep horizontal. So, kagaya nung nandito sa ating preview. Then text color, specify by layer ulit. Text height by text style na yan. Pwedeng lagyan ng frame, pwedeng hindi. Baba, horizontal attachment or vertical attachment. Mas maganda yung horizontal attachment. Then, okay. Pwede na yan. Yun lang. Yun lang yung ating MLEADER. Then, MLEADER, M2, set current. With MLEADER, hindi natin ma-specify yung MLEADER layer. Sa dimension lang po yun. So, with MLEADER, bago nyo start yung command na MLEADER, gawa muna tayo ng layer specifically for MLEADER. Iparehas na natin na ML2, new layer, ML2. Tapos yung color, parehas na rin dun sa dimension. Yung line weight, parehas. Pag every now and then, if you're going to create layers that involves text sa mga plates natin, gamitin yung layer line weight ni 0.2. So, MLEADER 0.2 pa rin yung ating line weight. Then, line type is continuous. Same color with dimension 3. Then, set current. Check mo na lang. Ngayon, create tayo ng MLEADER. That is ML. MLEADER. MLEADER. Kailangan mong input yung buong command. MLEADER, then spacebar. Select the object that you want to put your detail. Let's just say this object. Then, start typing. Coordinates. Then, you can still move. You can move horizontally, vertically, horizontally to extend the line, and yes, vertically. Papansin natin medyo maliit yung arrow, tapos sobrang laki yung text. Palitan na lang natin ulit. Then MLEADER dimension, MLEADERSTYLE, and enter. Modify, text height, edit natin. Let's just say 2. Apply. Set current. Okay. Arrowhead. Let's just say 2. Then, okay. Set current. Close. Diba? Mas maganda, mas maayos tignan. So, naka-specify na by layer yung ating MLEADER setting. Kaya lahat with regards to its arrowhead at saka dun sa text, nakaset by layer. Kung gusto naman nating specify na yung kulay ng ating arrowhead, dim style letter settings, modify, select nyo yung color, say green, then okay. Set current, close. So, mapapalitan. Mas maganda. Gusto nga lang sobrang colorful. So, that is dimensions and MLEADER. Question po? Hello?
Wala po, sir.
MLEADER and dimension. Now, other thing for us to discuss today is yung viewport. Viewport is for us to create a window pane in your layout tab or in our layout tab. So, for instance, wala pa yan. Delete na lang muna natin. Create tayo ng bagong page setup for this layout. Modify. Drawing to PDF. Size ng paper. Again, that is ISO full bleed A4 landscape. A4 landscape 297 by 210. Scale 1:1 yung nasa ating model. So 1:1. Plot line weight. Plot transparency. Plot style and plot paper space. Last. Then, drawing orientation, dapat naka-landscape. Yung plot style table, none. Hindi ko sinabing i-present as monochrome or black and white. May nagsasubmit na naka-black and white. Hindi pinanood ng buo yung video. So, set natin sa none. Then, okay. Now, create a viewport. For instance, copyhin na lang muna natin ito. Halimbawa, meron na tayo ng ating ano ba yun? Buksan ko na lang dito. Plot 1. PLO1. Copyhin natin siya from base point. Then, punta tayo sa PLO2. Control V. Okay. So, ito na ang ating drawing plate. Now, I want to create viewport. Viewport or yung ating window view papunta doon sa model tab. So, viewport. Just input viewports, box type or active model configuration, then okay. Then start drawing a box or rectangle. So with this, we will have a window view pertaining to the model tab. Palitan natin yung layer. Okay. Double click the window tab, window view. So makakapasok tayo this time doon sa ating model drawing. So parang binutas lang natin siya papunta doon sa model tab. Gets yan? In using viewport, these are good when it comes to defining the scale of your drawing. So pag sinabi nating 1:100, i-view out niya into 1:100 scale yung drawing. So from that, click outside, short, palitan natin. So yung drawing na yun, specifically, is naka 1:100. Then move. Or, balik natin. Double click to the window dun sa viewport. Then, pili ka ng scale. Yung scale na makikita mo yung drawing. 1:10, 1:8, 1:5, then 1:2. Say, 1:4. Or you can also create your own scale. Custom. Add name appearing scale in list. Let's just say 1:3. Yung pangalan ng scale mo. Paper units, 1. Drawing units, 3. Then, okay. Then, okay. 1:3. Yung ginawa nating scale, 1:3 yung pangalan. So, select 1:3. So, yan, nakaset na siya kay 1:3 scaling. Now, ito yung problema minsan kay Viewport. Minsan nakakalimutan nating i-turn off yung layer na ginamit natin kay Viewport bago natin gawing PDF file. So, pag nakalimutan mong i-turn off yung Viewport layer, ito yung magiging itsura ng ating drawing. Preview. Mapapansin nyo, inabsorb niya yung layer ng ating viewport. Paano kung maraming drawing yan at multiple viewport ang gagawin mo? Di puro drawing na box, square lahat yan. With that, i-turn off natin yung nakaset na layer kay viewport. Yung light bulb, turn off. Then, okay. Then, control print. Continue plot single sheet, then preview. Mapapansin natin na wala na yung layer ng ating viewport. Malinis na siya. Balik lang natin ulit para makita natin yung limit ng boundary ng ating viewport. Then, okay. Then, you could also copy viewport. Copy from a base point. So, para lang siyang simpleng rectangle or object na mayroong layer. Kaso, it is a window view to your drawing tab. Then, turn off. Okay. Control print. Continue to layout. Preview. So, mapapansin nyo, magkaiba na sila. Ito yung halimbawa, kung meron na tayong floor plans, ito yung ating main floor plans, ito yung section view. I-specify niya, this is the details for the toiletry and bath, details for the master's bedroom, parang zoom in lang natin yung figure. And so forth and so long. So that is dimension, MLEADER, and viewport. Question?